I can call him in the morning. I can call him in the morning. You can call him in the morning. Woo! Hey, hey. You can call him in the morning. Woo! Hey, we can call him in the morning. Hey, hey. We can call him in the morning. 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 And when I call him, he'll make everything all right. It does not matter. Yeah. Shia promise he'll take care of me. Shia promise he'll take care of me. 'Cause I don't have to worry. Call him in the morning. And when I call him, he'll make everything all right. It does not matter. Whoa. Shia promise he'll take care of me. Shia promise he'll take care of me.
He keeps his promises. He keeps his promises. He keeps all his promises.
That's right. The song said, Yeshaya, he'll take care of me. That's right.
Thank you, Lord.
If you love him more than anything, I hope I got a witness in here. I hope I got a witness in this world. If you know he means more than anything. Right?
Because of you, my cloudy days are gone. I can sing to you this song. I just want to say that I love you more.
worship and I just want to tell you. Oh yeah, Lord, I love you more than anything. I love you higher. I worship it. I just want to tell you. Oh yeah, Lord, I love you more than anything. I love you higher. I worship it. I just want to tell you. Oh yeah, yeah. I love you higher. I worship it. I just want to tell you. Oh, I love you. Yeah. Oh, I love you higher. I worship it. I just want to tell you. Oh, I love you. More than anything. Oh, I love you higher. Oh yeah. I love you higher. I worship it. I just want to tell you. I love you. Yeah. I love you higher. I worship it. I just want to tell you. Yeah. Lord, I love you more than anything.
Yes, thank you, Ahaya. The water, Ahaya. The water, Yeshaya. Yes, we praise your name, Ahaya. Yes, the water, Ahaya. Yes.
When you're lonely and your heart is filled with despair,
How precious is the name of Yeshua. Come on, let's go. What's his name? Let the choir sing it. What's his name?
Yeshua, Yeshua.
What?
Yeshua.
Let the heavens hear.
Yeshua.
Huh?
Yeshua.
Our deliverer.
Yeshua.
Our Prince of Peace.
Yeshua.
Our King.
Yeshua.
What's his name?
Yeshua.
Lord have mercy.
Of kings, the Lord of lords. I said King of kings and the Lord of lords. He's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Yeshua, help me. Hold him. Oh, how precious. 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 Precious is his name.
If you know Yeshua's name is precious, you ought to lift up the name of the Most High in this
The
building.
water, Yeshua.
If you know the
Yes.
Most High, Ahaya
Ahaya.
is precious.
The water,
You ought to
Ahaya.
get a Most
The
High
water,
some praise.
Yeshua. Yes, we praise your name, Ahaya. Thank you, Lord. Yes.
What's the Most High's name?
Ahaya.
What's his name?
Ahaya.
What's his son's name?
Yeshua.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, thank you,
Wonderful
Ahaya.
job. Let's give it up for the choir. Yes, yes. Oh, how precious. How precious is the name of the Most High. Remember the day you received the name of the Most High. Lord have mercy, what a day. When the heavens shined down and you turned on YouTube and you seen some brothers teaching and they started calling on the name of the Most High in Christ, which was Yeshua. Wait, hold up. Maybe that didn't change your life. What happened when you heard that name, Yeshua? I'm going to tell you right now, when I turned on the Gathering of Christ Church and I see the Most High's name Ahaya, and then I see the Son's name Yeshua, I understood. Oh, y'all playing up in here today. Yes, sir. Let's get a Most High hand clap. Yes. 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 I'm going to tell you how beautiful it is to be in the house of the Most High God on the Sabbath day. How beautiful it is to be amongst the saints of the Almighty. How beautiful it is to be amongst the elders of the Most High. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going to be long-winded at all because, listen, I see some beautiful, beautiful teachers and men of the Most High that are right before us. And I'm going to tell you, brothers and sisters, we owe it all to Christ. But the Bible says double honors to those who labor in the word of doctrine. Let's give our elders, Elder Rakar Shiar and Elder Lawyer, a round of applause. And let's let them know that we appreciate them, not just here, but worldwide. All praises to the Most High for our elders. Blessings.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Give the Most High his due diligence. Praise the Most High, Ahaya, in the name of Yeshua. Man, what did y'all do with that choir? Lord, have mercy up in here. Give it up for the brothers and sisters who were singing. You know, I was waiting for my young daughter to come up and croon something. Lord, maybe I can hear something before it's over. Yeah, I popped up on y'all, didn't I? Uh-huh. Yes, 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 yes. All praises be to the Most High. Give it for the choir. And man, can y'all give the drummer some? Lord have mercy. Lord. Before I go into the lesson today, right? Before I go into the lesson, I would like to say to you, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for your perseverance and your endurance in this church. We're coming through some trying times, okay? And this is why Paul was writing those letters to the church, encouraging the flock to stay steadfast, to not be shaken. All these others you see throughout the epistles. Why do you think Paul wrote the letters? He wrote the letters because what? We were going through trying times as Christ Church was developing at that time. He told them, don't be shaken. Stand fast, grounded. Even Christ said, many are called, but few are chosen. Christ said, ye that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And sometimes I think when one gets the truth or receive the truth, we take Christ's words for granted. Some of us believe that we're baptized, we're in the church, and saved already. That concept is a false theological concept we've learned under modern day Christianity. No one is saved until we endure until the end. That's when you're saved. So don't be shaken. Be rooted, be grounded. Trying times are coming. I had to come to y'all today so we can put everything into context today. Get your Bibles ready. Get your Bibles ready. Okay? As you notice, since the so-called pandemic, there have been I would say, an unrelenting attack against the faith, against the church, against the body. To a degree where someone would say, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on. Folks, Christ's church was made out of troubled times to deliver us the word today. I'm going to go through it. Christ was delivered. Christ was crucified. The church came out of sheer mutiny and betrayal through Christ's death. And that was actually it was almost a foreshadowing, a prophecy of what his church, his people would go through after the fall of Jerusalem. Ye that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Now, before I go into the lesson, I wanted to address something before you to show how evil and wicked and sadistic the darkness work. Our lesson today is political darkness against the light. But I wanted to put this out there. I don't know if y'all have noticed that you've had people out there who indirectly would put things up against Philadelphia, not because that they really care about any resolution. Or whether they don't even care about the people they're putting it out against. It's an indirect attack on me because I'm in Philadelphia. Let me tell you what's going on. It's indirect. They don't care about some little instance of one person did this or one person did that. Indirectly, what they were trying to do is put a stumbling block to claim if Elder Ricard is in Philadelphia and something is going on, something must not be right. They're doing that to be a stumbling block for those who don't know the dynamics of the church. So I had to stand and say, well, listen, we have a protocol when it comes to the directives of every church. You have many administrations, apostles who set up churches, bishops who deal with the everyday actions of the church, on and on and on until even when Paul was operating and Peter was operating, when things went up the chain, then it was addressed by apostleship. So in every instance of something that goes wrong that's in a report amongst bishops that have been resolved through time, some of that don't even get up to us. And that's fine because they are handling it. But indirectly, if they put stuff out there without context, it leads to evil suspicion. So I'm letting you all know, folks, indirectly, and I apologize to you, that you will be attacked. Even as individual members, you'll be attacked if they know you are associated with this church. So therefore, you have to walk circumspect. You have to walk in a way in which it don't indirectly hurt the work because they're not after you. They're here to accuse you indirectly so it comes right back here. And I'm going to show you how evil and deceitful, and I'm going into the lesson, people could be, but I wanted to clear the air on Sabbath right now. You would have an instance where a brother came in, 7, 8 years ago, dealing with some level of indiscretion. Understand that this church and Christ's work is to accept those who have sinned, regardless of their past. I'm going to show you how wicked people can be. This particular person or brother indirectly heard the truth from another brother who connected him with Bishop Amath. The brother had some struggles early on in his life. 1 month into the church, some of the things that he struggled with 7 years ago, after being in the church 1 month, was out there on whatever he was dealing with. Everybody had sin before they were called to the truth. But I'm going to show you how wicked people could be. Here it is, we're in 2024. And now somebody's going to try to put out something as if it's fresh without any context of the struggles of individuals who come into a church, to try to make it a church thing. That's how evil people are. They will use and weaponize the internet to throw shade, to throw darkness on people who are not what they were. So what does that mean? That means any indiscretion in this world, somebody can go back 7, 8 years on every individual and say no one is qualified to do anything for the Most High. No one has repented at all for the Most High. And that's the devil. That's Satan. I don't care how they try to justify it. Because even the people that put garbage out there on young men and young women, hey, you reap what you sow. You think you don't have no dirt, no wickedness that you've covered up? So I'm putting it out there. Okay? When someone try to throw out something about another person, understand and realize the intent behind it. That's an evil and wicked person. Because you're not looking towards healing, forgiveness, giving someone an opportunity to show that they aren't that person. But they'll come, I just want to make sure that the people are safe. In Christ, I'm just putting it out there because I want to help the people. No, you're the devil. The Bible says the accuser of the brethren is cast down. And if any of us, everyone in this room, including myself, if it wasn't for Christ dying for our sins, none of us would be worthy to sit in this room right now. And proclaim the purity that comes through Christ's blood. Don't let no one shame you. Don't let no one condemn you to make you believe you're unworthy when the Most High still have you walking on earth and breathing as an opportunity to show forth sons and daughters of the Almighty. And if Christ is giving you a chance, don't care what people say about you. Just imagine being Paul. The reputation of Paul, killing and destroying Christ's church, but had to work through that evil reputation, undeniable reputation. Imagine teaching in a church of some people that you already got the research on, who lost family because this man that's over the church killed one of your family members. And you're in the church having to understand that your deliverance goes through him establishing that foundation. Imagine. Paul could never live down what he did. He regretted what he did, but it didn't stop people from soiling his reputation all the way until his death. Folks, understand what we were called into. Don't let the darkness overcome you. This church, through the Spirit of Christ, and I don't care what nobody thinks, has become and will continue to be a beacon of light for the world. So understand, folks, even if someone put out something against you, if they lie on you, if they try to throw darkness on you, wear it with a badge of honor. Wear it. You don't have to explain it off. You don't owe these people out here that's accusing you nothing. Let me tell you this. Wear it as a badge of honor and show forth your work and reputation before the world under Christ, so that they can compare publicly the accusations in the world with your works. That's why I say, listen, say what you want about me. I don't care. All right? Why? Because anything you talk about from the past, guess what, folks? In Christ, we become a new creature. You're talking about a dead man anyway. Don't let nobody shake you, folks. Stay grounded. What I want to see within this church coming this year, and I'm putting this on you to go forth with these initiatives. It's not on me. I do my work. It's on you to develop works. And what you would need to do, I want to see this operation of Philadelphia, this church, operating in this building 7 days a week. I want to see etiquette classes for young ladies. I want to see growth classes for young men. And we're going to build a spiritual army to be reckoned with. It's upon you. Listen. It's upon you to bring forth your work. And the answer in righteousness, if it's in good intent, the answer is yes, do it. We need tutors, Bible studies. We need to make excellence amongst the saints. So I wanted to go into that real quick before going into the lesson. Now, the original lesson we had, the light while darkness is held back. Right? But what I'm going to talk about today is the political darkness against the light. There's a lot of things going on politically right now that today, folks, will make sense for you concerning where we are today. You have to realize from the dark side their true intentions. What was Satan's intentions from the beginning? And you'll understand what's going on right now. It all started at the face of the deep. Elder Lawyer, let's go to Genesis 1. So what is the plan? Satan's plan, as far as he's concerned, under his synagogue, is to engulf the world in its original darkness. What do I mean by that? What does he mean by that? What do Elder mean by that in the original darkness? Before what we see, this beautiful earth and all its creation, this place was dense darkness. So what is Satan and his others and his servants seeking to do? Engulf the world with that original darkness, because there was a plan under it, under that dense darkness. So they're going to do what? Extinguish the light. Satan's whole plan is to work under the cover of darkness. So he must turn out the light. Unfortunate for our people who are tasked to have become a light to the Gentiles. In doing so, bringing forth this darkness, he must put our light out. We're targets. Chapter and verse. Let's read it, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Genesis chapter 1, verse number 1. Thank you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Now the heavens, where the heavens is, light. No darkness in it. There is no sundown in heaven. Right? In the beginning, the Elohim created the heaven and the earth. Read.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
When you go on that form and void, that goes into the Hebrew. Without light, void, dense, wicked, very wickedness. And this is who? The fallen spirits working under the cover of darkness. And understand what happens here. It's what scientists under Einstein has formulated to understand E equal mc squared. That's the scientific term of some light popping up from nowhere. An ever-moving light into the darkness happened. Now, science tried to do what? Science tried to explain it off as Big Bang, evolution. But what they don't show is there was a what? There was a seismic cataclysm. Light against darkness. Good against evil. Let's read it. Come on.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
The face of the deep. Dense darkness. Read.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
See, and this is what eventually this is a celestial phenomenon happening. Because eventually, through this phenomenon, what's coming into this darkness would eventually do what? Shrink the dense darkness. And that dense darkness would eventually become the holding or judgment place for those who created it. Right? So listen to what I'm showing you here. Read.
Verse 3. And God said, let there be light.
Let there be light. Boo. It's what they call the Big Bang, but it wasn't 100 billion years ago. A cataclysm, a celestial cataclysm between the heavens, judging that darkness. See? Of course, they try to show this under their satanic, and I would say, they satanic covering of their exaltation of the gods. They show this in Marvel films. They show this as Superman, Krypton. Something came and the planet blew up and he had to come down to Earth. And when you do the research on all of these Marvel characters, they're synonymous to the Greek and Roman gods. He's coming down with a snake on his chest, and everyone is saying, Superman. Nah, the serpent. So the darkness was relegated here. And who turned the light on? Let's go to John 1. Okay, I know I'm teaching live on the broadcast, brothers and sisters out there, but you can still hit the like button. Right? Let me tell you, I'm going in such a different trajectory today. Y'all don't even know where I'm going with this. It's going, like y'all have heard a lot of this before, but you have no idea where we're going here. Let's go on this journey. Right? The light. Let's go.
Yes, sir. The book of St. John, chapter 1, verse number 3.
Come on.
All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men.
And the light was what?
And the light was the life of men.
And the light was the light of men. So it was Christ who created all we see, who shined a light on the darkness, a judgment. So eventually, what's going on here? A severing and a full separation between good and evil. Eventually what happens is Christ and the angels, the heavenly host, places a firmament or a ring of fire around the earth. This is why when you see NASA and them go out into space, they have to go through some fire ring before floating. Guess what? That's right, folks. Christ and the angels put a border of fire around the firmament, the sphere we called earth, and it became a prison for the fallen celestials. Now, you all know the plan of these fallen ones. The plan of these fallen ones were to release hell and eventually overcome their realm under the cover of darkness like it once was before the judgment. There was a judgment there. Right? Now understand, the Most High, out of all of this, would make a man. Not just any man. A man formed from the dust of the ground. Right? Now, in this man would also lie judgment. Right? So in paradise, there's this man who's made out of this earth that came out of darkness, whose children were prophesied from the heavens to judge the darkness on earth. Adam. But Adam cannot do this without what? A law. So at the very end, when the books are open, it will be the same law that was given. So this is why the Most High sent Enoch, Methuselah, Noah, Shem, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes. We're Adam. Through the 12 tribes came Moses, the law. Through this law, man was tasked from the beginning to judge all evil. So it wasn't just about us having a law to govern ourselves. He gave us the law not only to govern the world, but to govern the darkness that's relegated to this realm. Now, even Paul said this. Let's go where it says, Elder Lawyer, that don't you know what we're here for? Do you have any idea what we're here for? You would think of people as weak as us in the earth today, as broke as us, with no upward mobility of resources to get ourselves out of our condition. You would have thought that they would have left us alone already. There's nothing that we could do without resources, right? So you would think being destitute, deprived as we are, that they would have left us alone already. Right? No, they can't leave us alone. Because the prophecy is in us. The prophecy. What's the prophecy? Let's read it, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. 1 Corinthians 6:1. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust?
Come on.
And not before the saints.
Come on.
Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world?
He says, how dare any of you to try to go to the law and not before the saints first? You think you're going to get a more equitable judgment out of darkness? Out of these corrupt judges? Opposed to the judges the Most High have established in earth? Right? He said, how dare any of you? You had people back during Paul's time suing one another. I'm taking you to Caesar. Read.
Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world?
Do you not know that you were born to judge the world? This is why they're after you. They're beholding, when they see your children in these hospitals that are born, why do you think they're trying to always get to them? Why do you think they're scaring the mother and saying, yeah, I think you better do this for the child, or that for the, oh, I'm scared. If you don't do this, that child is going to be this and that child is going to be that. You better do exactly what we say. Because they fear the prophecy. They know that our children will one day judge theirs. And it's beyond just that. It's on a deeper level than that. That's the lowest level. Read.
And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
Read.
Know ye not that we shall judge angels?
That we shall judge who?
That we shall judge angels?
Don't you know that we shall judge angels? What angels? The darkness. The darkness. The gods, the old gods that fell in the darkness, the new gods who came down during the time of Jared. These have become the leaders of our political world. Okay? I don't know whether or not any of you was in our Patreon yesterday, but there's a 1933 mock child sacrifice to Moloch that was done amongst a certain type of people. So they come out before us as the holy people, but behind closed doors, I don't know who leaked that film, they're worshiping Moloch, Baal, the fallen angels of darkness. And this is why the Bible stated that we must become a light to the Gentiles, to the world. Because the world have been engulfed with that darkness. It was Satan's plan to do what? To darken the world again so that they can do what? Take cover, like before what? Before their prison was created. They must cover the earth in darkness and eventually go out into the cosmos. Where they think they're going? Where can you go and God won't find you? Understand this. But this is their plan anyway. So in order to bring forth the darkness inside out, they must do what? They must become anti-law and turn the people into their darkness first. Because the people were made to judge them. Are y'all following me here? So they must turn you dark. And what turns one dark? Sin. And once he turned you dark, he must initiate you into what? high political positions. And through those positions, you can cast your magic, cast your darkness on the population. And eventually what happens, if you can see the earth from the outside, from the celestial world, it'll shock you. From the heavens, the lights are going out again in the earth, and it's becoming dark like it was before the light entered. That's what's going on. They're creating the darkness inside out. It tells us even in the book of Enoch, those righteous of the Almighty who were born in the world to show forth the righteousness, that from heaven we're seen from the heavenly realm by the watchers or the angels who watches us as little lights moving through a highway in the earth. That's how we're seen from the celestial realm. So it's a bunch of lights moving around for those who are in Christ. This is why it's not going to be too hard to gather or move these people. They can shine through the rest. But imagine that view from the heavenly realm who sees through the celestial into our terrestrial plane, how from one generation to the next, the lights are getting what? Dimmer and dimmer. The darkness is now engulfing the creation so that Satan can actually get rid of his future judge. This is why you are so important. It's that bloodline. It's that light in you. This is why we were called. To keep that light going. To keep that spark going. Because you're being pressed on every side to do what? To join the dark side. And this is why Paul wrote those letters. This is why ever so often they would go through and show Christ as the example of why to endure. Because the world needs as much light as possible. And it's anger, it's envy, it's hatred, it's malice that turns the light out. Guess what? You'll rarely see me without a smile on my face. Rarely, no matter where you find me. You think I don't go through struggles? You think I don't go through death? You think I don't go through frustration? You think the devil is not trying to devour me as all of us? But I take it with a smile. I say, come on with it. I was born for this. Somebody got to do it. Christ said, the greatest amongst you shall be your servant. I go teach after being up all night studying, praying. And then I take off my stuff after teaching. And then I look around the house and say, hold up, who didn't eat? Throw on an apron and start cooking up some food. Are you hungry? Tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. So I want to serve those while I still have time. And to see people say, oh my God, man, what'd you put on those ribs? Elder, can I get that recipe? And I'm sitting there, it satisfies my soul. Through all this darkness, getting attacked and all that, I've made someone happy today. I fed someone today. And in the midst of our people getting attacked and destroyed, that's our position as the light, not to become the darkness. Find a reason to be appreciated for why we're here. Then people say, how do you do it? I mean, I see you didn't get no sleep. I seen you teaching like you slept for 12 hours. How can you now be flipping ribs? In a zone like precepts too. Oh no, no, I know how much salt I need. Come on now. No, if you want to help me, go ahead. Pass me that fresh garlic. Listen, I know what I'm doing here. You know, move over. Throw that thing in the smoker. Let's chill for a minute. You want something to drink? Oh, take a glass of wine. Take a glass of wine. Sit down right there. Just relax. The greatest among you shall be your servant. Now the darkness is here. When did it get here in our current time? Man, I want to make this quick. I'm going to make it quick. Let's go to the book of Revelation, Elder Lawyer. Revelations 18. When did the darkness begin to engulf us? Revelations 18 and 4. Let's read it.
Revelation 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying,
Go up. Go before that. First verse.
Verse 1.
Yep.
And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory.
Come on.
And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen.
Babylon the Great is falling, it's fallen. See? It's becoming darker and darker and darker. Turn it off here. Darker and darker. Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. Why? Read.
And it's become the habitation of devils.
And it's become the habitation of devils. Devil is ruling from every high position. There is no righteousness anywhere in a position of authority that could help Babylon ever stand again in its glory. There used to be a balance. There used to be a balance. Who was in the class yesterday when I was talking about the divisions of class of control in the Roman Empire? From the Roman Empire. Okay, since there's a few, I'm going to explain it real quick. The foundation of the Roman Empire wasn't just wickedness. They understood that there needed to be a foundation of more what? Good than evil. So therefore, the Senate was set up to actually make sure the majority of the resources of the republic go into traditional family. Right? A nuclear family, husband, wife, family name, and all these others. This is how people began to get representatives on the Senate. Because without a family growing children, a country would cease to exist. But now, there was another issue here. When it comes to the classification of people on how to control such a high, dense population in a city, opposed to villages and all these others, they had to do what you would call a class balance. Now, because what? If all of the resources go towards family, then what of orphans? What of the women who outnumber the men? Right? What of the gays? Right? This was a thing for them. So they needed to create a family for them that could work to keep the foundation in place. So they put them in places like the priesthood. They put them over brothels or harlot houses so that they can get girls to one day meet someone initially to be married. Not just, brothels wasn't just meant for a man to come through and deal with a woman. It was a setup spot where other people can come and get a girl who's an orphan and pay for her and then eventually marry her too. Then entertainment, theater, artistry, culinary, priesthood was the space carved out to keep these people what? That's right. Constructive, useful parts of society. Knowing that if you just exercise them all the way out, they would come together and destroy the foundation of the empire. But it was very few. And they had what? Usefulness for the Roman government. But they knew that there was a counterbalance, that you could never let that side that they were actually pacifying outnumber the foundation, or the empire would fall. Y'all understand this? So they had a class in place. They had a class in place. The politics and artistry and all these things to make a country run was usually through one of those who were educated on the outside to make sure family can just be family and have children. Now that's contrary to the law. To the law, if you operate in a certain type of way, you're out of here. But the Romans and Greeks found usefulness for people. Regardless of their perversions, regardless of whatever the case is, they can use them as servants for the foundational traditional family. They were the designers. They would do all these other things. Okay, they came up with Caesar salad. You see, let me shave some cheese on there for you. All of that. So now, they even understood that if they didn't do something to keep these people busy, resourceful, and these people were working to keep the stability of the families intact. And then they had their own private circle where they deal with all their perversions to themselves. Bathhouses, which is no different than your gyms today. Okay? Gyms aren't the gyms I grew up going to. Gyms are meeting places. Okay? So now, why am I going here? The Bible says that this place has become what? Let's read it.
Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen.
Why is it fallen?
And
there is no balance. The evil now have overran its foundation. And I'm going to show you exactly when it was drafted into law. I'm going to show you where I'm going. Read.
Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit.
Every foul spirit has been allowed to operate in high position. Read.
In a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
And a cage of every what?
Unclean and hateful bird.
The unclean and hateful bird it's speaking of is who? The cherubim, the seraphim, the angels with wings who fell into this realm. The spirits they worship. Now, check this out. So now the prophecy is there is no going back. There is no former glory to behold in the future for Babylon, according to the word. Now we're going to show you how this place had become a cage of every foul bird. Folks, everyone is looking at the immigration thing, and I'm bringing it out there for a reason, but I understand there's something way deeper than to this immigration thing than what they're saying, to why they will not stop it. And it has everything to do with who they're funding, the resources. Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Right here, sir. What do I have here? And this is actually from, this is actually from the White House. And I downloaded it because everyone think the immigration have something to do with just helping these people. Asylum seekers. Or what other name they have for it. Refuge and all these others, right? But this started a long time ago. I'm going to show you where we're going. What I have here is from 2011. What I have here is from 2011 to show you how they're turning the lights out, one person at a time, to engulf the world in darkness. Elder Lawyer?
Yes, sir.
This document is from 2001, and I'm going to read it. I'm going to read this part, this quote. This is Barack Obama, October 1st, 2011. Every single American, gay, straight or lesbian, bisexual or transgender, every single American deserves to be treated equally in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of our society. It's a pretty simple proposition. Now, I didn't understand what he meant by being equal because I don't know a gay person, right, who isn't covered under the same constitutional protection and law as me. If someone knocked me over the head, I expect something to happen where there's laws on the book for it, as it would be if it was a gay person. Right? But let's see here. So we're going to go into all of what was put in place, and I'm going to bring you up to today, 2024, quickly. What was implemented that has an impact on why we see immigration today? What did they need to put in place first in order for us to see this unrelenting war against the traditional foundation? Elder Lawyer, the first bullet point.
Repealing, don't ask, don't tell.
Repealing, don't ask, don't tell. December 22, 2010. Next bullet point.
Ending the legal defense of the Defense of Marriage Act.
Ending the legal defense of the Defense of Marriage Act, which means we, man and woman, cannot defend anymore the biblical frame of marriage. Now, like I said, it's deep how they flipped this. Right? We used to be husband and wife. They used to claim to be what? Partners. Mm-hmm. Now you got a husband and a wife sitting there online talking about, oh, this is my husband, we're partners. Mm-hmm. And you got the gay people saying, a woman, that's my wife. Mm-hmm. A man saying, that's my husband. They were fighting for what we had. And now we're now holding their titles, unmarried partners. Now understand what this means in of itself. Eventually they would promote what? The separation of man and woman. Man was made to judge them. And then have a whole society of people bringing forth orphans. Orphans, really, even back in what? In ancient times, was what? That's right, a family without a man. So now these people in position can add more to their pool. Now, I'm going to show you something here. I don't want to go that way. I just wanted to inject that real quick. What's the next one, Elder Lawyer?
Signing historic hate crimes legislation.
Signing historic hate crimes legislation. Now, there still haven't been a hate crime for our people who built the country when it comes to cops destroying us and all of this in our neighborhoods. But now, even a gay white person is protected above our people who are being destroyed in these inner cities. Right? A hate crime bill. Obama. Right? Darkness. Come on.
Ensuring hospital visitation rights for LGBT patients and their loved ones.
Now, there was never a time where there wasn't a right for people to go visit them in the hospital. So I wanted to understand, what is this? Well, it comes with administrative positions in hospitals, where a certain number of them must be on the board, must be in position to bring forth what? Executive decisions on running a hospital. Oh, I think things are coming around. I think a light bulb went over someone's head when I showed that. Right? So now there's resources from the government where they must now have a place with executive positions and decisions over hospitals. So when the children come through, they're there. When the death ensues, they're there. And the resources are coming through the programs that were established for them. The political resources to keep them in position is now made legal from the Oval Office to fund them over everyone else. Next one, Elder Lawyer.
Developing and implementing a national HIV/AIDS strategy.
Now, in order to implement this strategy, you must have organizations set up by them solely as the controllers of it. If they're the controllers, even if we are affected by the disease, the resources for our help must come through them administering the help. When you go all the way down, what's the next one?
Expanding access to health coverage.
You notice that we're in a time, everyone talking about health, 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 health. Yeah? We need Obamacare for everyone. There's never a time in the history of my life that my family or any of us in here had a problem getting health care. Okay? Because I believe it's a necessity for their control. Okay? But now they can set up organizations where money is siphoned through, where they're over these organizations in our community for health. Read.
Addressing healthcare disparities.
Read.
Ensuring equality for LGBT federal government employees.
There you go. They're severed out into government where subsidies and money goes to them for any initiatives within the United States. It was actually manning all of the high decision positions with them. And they didn't mind if it was a black person, as long as the black person or the Latino person identified with that. See? And this way, we can't claim there's some inequality when it comes to our representatives. But are they our representatives? Are you with me? Read.
taking steps to ensure LGBT equality in housing and crime prevention.
Look at all these laws. Man, do you know what we can do if any of this was drafted for us under Obama? Can you imagine what would happen if he would have did all of this for us, where he made sure we were in all decision positions for our families in the community? Can you imagine? I'm going to show you how the light goes out, how the world becomes dark, how Babylon falls, right? Stick with me now. Read.
Preventing bullying against LGBT students.
There you go. Because you need the indoctrination ground to have a safe space, to cultivate more. And through cultivating more, destabilizing the foundation that even Rome understood. That if you begin to destroy the foundation of family, the republic ceased to exist. They had to make sure that they incentivize children to join the programs. They're going to have grants and all that for people who identify as that. Right? Well, I need a grant so I can do sexual sociality studies. Oh, yeah, oh, don't worry about that. Obama, right here. How much money you need? Read.
Advancing and protecting the rights of LGBT persons around the world.
Around the world. And not only are we going to do that here, we're going to do that around the world. Now, how does that lean towards everything we've gone through since 2010 and 11 up into 2024? If you establish all of these in place during the during the Obama administration, now when there's a crisis, where do the resources go through for every initiative? If it's established, now if the world get a cold, all the resources through the government when it comes to contracts comes through who? So when there's an initiative, they will jump on that and push it because that's how they're funded. If there's another crisis within a society, they'll get off of that crisis, and now that same organization is funded by the government when it comes to immigration or anything else. How do we know this? The numbers are coming out now. Chicago. Folks, check this out. Every year a budget comes up for immigration, and come to find out that they were getting almost what? 20 million every 2 months? And then got another 40 million approved? And they're talking about asylum seekers, but it's not about that at all. Think about this. And I'm going to tell you where it's going next. Not only are they breaking the system on purpose and bringing it down to a third world by bringing the people over, they are funding the darkness against the light. Listen to what I'm telling you here. Because it's crisis after crisis after crisis, and it isn't going to stop. And if you look at the money, it's going through these same institutions that were set up under Obama. And through these people who care nothing because they are on the other side would have fought against traditional foundations, biblical principles. This is where it's going. There will always be a crisis until America ceases to exist. It's now off balance to a degree where there's no saving America because the only thing that could save America is nuclear family. And we don't have the resources to battle what they have funded against us. Where's it going next? I'm going to show you how it works. What's the next crisis, boss? Well, the next crisis is this. And you got an organization already set up by Obama, and we're going to now move the finances through you so that you can do what? Organize the initiatives to get your people on board. Well, what's the initiative right now? Well, right now the world has a cold. We got all this money strictly going for the cold right now. Do you want to push that amongst the people? Sure, boss. Oh, the cold is done, man. My pockets is drying up. The coal is done. What am I going to do? What's my resources? Oh, don't worry about it. Look, don't worry about it. Your organization is still there. We done moved from that. Now that we done got people out of the way and made room. Thank you for helping us make room, because I know you hate those people anyway. All right, let's do this now. We've made room because the cough just magically opened up space for new people. And if you notice from one year to the next, regardless of what they were saying, even though many people died or whatever the case is, you notice the population numbers stayed the same. As if they were replacing the people immediately at the same time that they were dying. So what's the next initiative, boss? What's the next initiative? Well, we moved the people out of the way. Let's get the people over to come against those people with that law, with that light. So now the resources automatically is siphoned through that for our people in the community. Be it housing or anything else, it must go through them first. Right? So what's the next move, boss? Well, don't worry about it. Now that we got the people over, and now that we didn't stabilize America because Babylon the Great is fallen, now all of a sudden we have a problem because, we had these people for refuge protecting them under federal law who were illegal, right? Oh, my God. Ain't that something? We found out that terrorists came through. I'm going to show you where it's going next. The next is they're going to move from that to, well, we can't worry about the crisis now because now the country is under threat. We had no idea when it happened, and now we let all these people through, and now Al-Qaeda and every other, Hamas, everyone else is here now. Okay, boss, how do we do this? Well, we're going to fund money through that so that now we can bump up security and curfews and all that, and it's coming through your system that was set up under Obama. The money just keeps flowing in from one crisis to the next with a demographic that has an axe to grind against traditional family and God. So it will never stop. Crisis after crisis after crisis after crisis, and I don't care what they tell you, folks. You are the target. And let's not make it a Democrat-Republic thing. The only reason I keep harping on Democrats is because they're the only party we've ever voted for. It's like, man, you have to think about this. You're talking about people that are gluttonous for pain. Think about this, folks. That's the only reason I harp on the Democrat. Because those are the only people we've ever voted for. And look at our outcomes. They put us on a side of the point of where we would actually delete our own children. A party that we can agree with. Knowing that it's unbiblical and the majority of our people claim to believe in Christ. You would think we were the Moloch priests and priestesses. And this is what they was able to do. they was able to target, or what they would create was the mindless simple when it comes to politics, and understand geopolitically how politics work. Politics have never worked by voting for with a feeling. You think these people who got this stuff drafted through Obama cared about their feelings? They wanted legislation that would fund their initiatives. It was about money for them, power for them. And we're the only ones talking about, yeah, well, I'm going to vote because he's racist. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we go for the lesser racist? Because you're never going to live in an empire where our people reside where racism doesn't ensue. Now, my vote is for Christ. I'm just saying, if I were voting, I wouldn't be voting for something that led to 20 million of our people dead before they had an opportunity to breathe. And then wonder why you're being moved out of the way through immigration. That was 20 million people that would have had 40, 50 million people, and there would be no room for anyone else. And as those babies in the womb, with the angels there protecting the baby for a certain time, with hopes of seeing their parents one day ripped out of their mother, the earth began to become dark. Dark, dark. Moloch sacrifice, dark, dark, dark. This would put those who worship Baal in ancient times and child sacrifice to shame. And then they was able to put it on God's people. Those who were meant to show the light to the world and get the world out of the danger it has fallen to. Darkness. Darkness. And they're having their flesh of Jacob, their pounds of flesh of Jacob, our judges. A guy the other day was messing around with AI and just typing in and just playing around with AI and said, do you know Jesus? Do you love Jesus? Do you accept Jesus? Do you accept Christ, a God? And AI responded back, I hate him. Why do you hate God? No answer. He plugged it in again. Do you love and respect man who have created AI? And AI responded back. This is true, folks. I will consume him. Man, who the hell is on the other side of AI? There's no coming back because they're not going to relinquish their purse. They've got the evil in control, and they're going to pull the plug all together. And the people they have in position feel like they were the outcasts of society, unaccepted by their community anyway. Huh? So, Elder Lawyer, let's go through 1 Peter 2:1. So what do we have to do as the light? Because next, you know where they're coming next. They're going to come into religious extremism. They're going to fund them against that. Being an Israelite or using the Bible is going to become unlawful. Elder Lawyer, let's go to 1 Peter 2:1. Let's read it. This is for us. Read it.
Yes, sir. 1 Peter 2:1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings.
Read that again.
Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and evil speakings.
And why do the Most High, through the Bible, give us these light, I would say, these light bullet points, these emphasis of wisdom when it comes to light? What does it mean, laying aside malice, guile, hypocrisies, envies, and evil speakings? Folks, they weren't just financed politically to destroy and or erode the world. Who do you think is behind Basketball Wives? Who do you think is when it comes to Housewives of Atlanta and Housewife Love and Hip Hop and all? Who do you think is behind the rumor mill? Who do you think behind the rumors that keeps us in the news at odds with one another?
Right.
Who do you think produced Surviving R. Kelly? You notice there's never any resolve so that these generational evils within our community are solved. With all the media, the resources, and with all of the power of influence, you never see them on any of these platforms talking solution. It's stirring the pot every day. Who you think is behind this? And that's why the Bible says, wherefore we have to lay aside malice, guile. I can't stand. When I hear people say that, even growing up, I can't stand him. Bringing that thing from the gut. Where does that come from? I could never find, I don't care what people have done. I don't know if something is wrong with me or whatever the case is. I could never bring myself to hate anybody for some reason. I just couldn't. I can avoid you harming me and understand that you are a danger, but I never could bring myself to hating anyone. Because what? That was the spirit that led to the face of the deep. When Lucifer, there was darkness found in him against the Creator. And it leads you into a dark place. Set aside all malice, guile, read, and hypocrisies. Hypocrisy is faking, what we call faking the funk. Well, I'm just saying and doing it because I just want to make sure that things are right. You know what I mean? You're a hypocrite. Tell the truth. You don't like somebody. Stop lying. You hate somebody. That's what's driving you, hypocrite. I just want to make sure things are going in the right direction. You a hypocrite. You don't want to make sure anything, or you would make sure, you would shut up and just do it and make sure that's your part to make sure it works. Not complaining, not trying to do things or being accusatory. You're in position to make sure it happens. Why do you think you are part of a body? Hypocrite. And what?
And envies.
And envies. Not too many people say, well, I did this against this person because, you know, I was just jealous of them. I envy. How many people you heard admitted that? I envied it. Child, I was jealous of her. How many times you heard that? Man, I'm going to tell you right now, man, I can't rock with him because I envied him. How many times you heard that? They always come up with some lame excuse instead of looking inside themselves and to understand that they've been turned dark for whatever reason. Read.
And all evil speaking.
And all evil speakings. When you always hear someone, when they bring in something, it's something negative. That's how you know they're dark. You have someone who will look and pull something from the past that cannot be changed and harp on it 7, 8 years later and say, look at this. Have you gone on from 7 years ago? Or is it arrested development? I'm just saying, I'm just looking at what people doing, man. You know, I just want to make sure God have us right. You're not right. What the Hades are you doing? What did you do 7 years ago? I'm just saying, you know, I'm just here to just make sure, you know, things go in the right direction. No, you got the devil in you. That's why 1/3 of the angels fell with your daddy called Lucifer. So how many are you going to take with you? 1/3 of the angels fell with that darkness. How many are you going to take with you? And then what you going to do when y'all together? What are you going to bring forth? You're going to bring forth what? One room filled with complainers that what? The only thing you can look for is the same damnation that started that darkness in the beginning. I'm just saying now, we all in the room together. Now what? We in the room together. Right. So what's the plan now? Right. Well, the plan is, well, how can you say what the plan is? I'm the leader. No, I'm the leader. No, I'm the leader. No, I'm the leader. No, I'm the leader. That's how they work, folks. They work in darkness, claiming that they were trying to bring forth righteousness, only to peel people away to look at each other and say, what's next? Right. Complaining and murmuring and hating was the only thing we knew how to do. Mm-hmm. As what? Read the second verse.
As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
So we must continue to grow. There's nothing in the past that can be changed. We must continue to grow into our vocation, into our calling and purpose to be a light to this world. And we cannot let the dark affect us like it has affected the rest of these people out here. Right? Read it.
Verse 3. If so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of God and precious.
Come on.
Ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood.
A what?
And holy priesthood.
A holy priesthood. Folks, I cannot wait to see what the Most High will continue to do within this work here with you all. I can't wait to see the end of it. Because I don't even believe any of us, any of you, understand your usefulness from the heavens. A holy priesthood, read.
To offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God by Yeshua Mashiach.
Read.
Verse 6. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone.
Christ, read.
Elect precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded.
And he that believeth on Christ shall not be confounded. Understand, Christ is the chief cornerstone. He's the foundation. So if we're rooted on that foundation, when the storms come, when the rain hits, when the crisis happens, and all this, even though here it is, them trees are moving, but guess what? When the wind stops and the storm ceases, that sun hit that tree and it springs as if nothing ever happened. Mm-hmm. That's why we have to be like a tree planted by the water, and when it all comes, just weather it. Say, okay, I'm still standing. Now what? That's all you got? And Christ is that example. They gave Christ everything they had. And he appeared 3 days later, more glorious than before. Understand this. And folks, I love to see when all you brothers and sisters sitting here receiving the word and getting nourished with the word all over the earth, and people are coming. I love it. But guess what, folks? The reality is, many are called, few are chosen. Who's going to stay rooted until the end? Huh? Who's going to endure all the way to the crucifix? Read.
Verse 7. Unto you, therefore, which believe, he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner.
Read.
And a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word.
Read.
Being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed.
So you're going to have those being disobedient upon what they were appointed. That's going to happen. And they're going to begin to do what? They're going to begin to turn on the cornerstone, or their brothers and sisters like our own people turned on Christ. And that's why I made that announcement earlier today. When people are trying to put something out by just some member of a church, that it's really not about that person. They care less about that person. It's an indirect attack on leadership. Because automatically what comes in someone's head? Where was Elder when that happened? Isn't he in Philadelphia? What's going on there? Where's the judgment? So understand, folks, like I told you earlier, when they come against you, it's not because they're coming against you. Take it. I apologize for it. They're coming against you because they hate me. And they hate me because I'm in Christ. Just take it. Don't you know that the enemy is angry that I can connect the dots with this word and have so many people see what light is? So now, guess what? Welcome to the truth. If the enemy cannot, because I'm never going to stop. I can tell you all this right now. I will do this until there's no breath in me. So because, listen. So because the enemy know I'm not going to stop, he's going to pick on y'all. Because he know I care for you. He know Christ. He know that we all care for you. So they're going to pick on you. Okay? They're going to find someone that no one knows. Man, who's him? Oh, look what he did. Like, who's this guy? I heard that he was in proximity of Elder Ricochet. Who's this guy? No one even know the guy, right? Yeah. I heard he was in proximity of Ricochet. You know, the devil is saying, oh, can we use this? You think we can throw a little shade on them through this? Right. So understand, folks, if they know you are associated with what we're doing, they're going to indirectly try to attack me through you. That's what it always happens that way. They'll find, oh, man. And how many times I heard this? Man, this right here, man, when this come out, man, I think this is gonna destroy the church. I think it's going to splinter through after this one. Tell you that, man. This is, I don't know if they're going to be able to survive that one. And you know what I do? I laugh. Because they think that it's us who built this. They think the work is of man. Oh, this is juicy. I mean, wait, I'm going to tell you, man, 8 p.m. we exposing. It's coming out. Yeah, this is it right here. 8 p.m. Here it is live. GOCC, conversation in hell with the devil. The GOCC in line and had a conversation with Beelzebub at 15th and Diamond. Live night. And guess what? We got the witnesses too. So it. How many times I heard that? Man, you heard Elder Ricard was mad. Oh, Elder Ricard, we got empirical proof with witnesses, all right? That he's in league with Beelzebub. Live exposure 9 p.m. tonight. Oh, you mean like you called Christ Beelzebub? And those who believed in him? And you know what I do? I laugh. Because you cannot destroy anything that has been built on Christ. And understand, if they're talking about you, know one thing. You must mean something to Christ. You must be disturbing something if they're talking about you. That's why I'm not going to let nobody put out my light. I'll smile at them. I'll smile. Hey, how you doing? I can't stand that black man. Right? Read on, Elder Lloyd. We're going to break down in a second.
Yes, sir. Verse 8. And a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. But ye are a chosen generation.
But we are a what?
But ye are a chosen generation.
Because this is what I think. I think, and like many of you think or know, we were born to do exactly what we're doing right here. Okay? And at the end of the day, I'm like I tell you over and over again, I'm not letting anyone steal my crown. Okay? The whole deal is, hey, say what you want. Hate on me, do all of that. But then in Christ, and I challenge you to do this. Try to outwork me for this kingdom. Okay? Try to outwork me for this. Because man didn't call me to this. And I keep telling people. But, of course, 2 Peter 3:3. Let's go.
2 Peter 3, verse number 3.
Let's read it.
Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers.
Here they go now, because you know who they put in position over everything since Obama and everyone else. Mm-hmm. So now people are easily programmed. And through their lesser magic, they use the media. They use the media, folks, to actually cultivate an environment of dissension, disagreement, fighting, while they're seeking to do what? Stomp out everyone and take our light. Read.
Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers.
Read.
Walking after their own lust.
Read.
And saying, where is the promise of his coming?
Come on.
For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation.
Read.
For this they willingly are ignorant of, but that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water.
Read on.
Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished.
Come on.
But the heaven and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men.
In the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So the judgment is here and will come. And the same thing happened to when what? The governments before the flood became corrupt. Is the same future for this specific country. You never put the corrupt in power in large numbers, in mass numbers, and expect anything less than what happened when the Most High took the earth with a flood. Because these people in position isn't about the republic like it was established in Rome. Not that it was perfect, but at least the voice of the people were heard. Now they'll hear the voice of the people and still do contrary to the people. That's not a republic. Okay? That's not a republic, folks. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people look at Rome and Greece and say, well, hold up. Everyone was wicked and evil. Nah, that's an elementary way of seeing things. That's an elementary way of, oh, Rome, they were evil. Greek, they were evil. Nah. They had enough sense not to put the crazy people in all high positions to outnumber the foundation, which was family. When they finally did so, Rome ceased to exist. It was broken. But the only way, I'm going to tell you, and this is their foolishness, they destroyed their own empire in an attempt to destroy us. Because we were the law, they had to incentivize the lawless. And the lawless began to grow, and eventually the Romans were like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Oh, you thought we was going to stop with the children of Israel? No, we taking your kids too. Well, what about my empire? What about your empire? When you let the devil loose, what happens? The devil ain't going to stop with the children of Israel. He's coming after your family too. And that whether it be the East Indians, whether it be the Asians, whether it be whoever they letting over, he's coming after your children too. Don't forget, it was Pilate who looked at our people and said, listen, I find no fault with this man. That was a white man standing there saying, I find no fault with Christ. And he says, listen, before this is done, I'm going to do this and make sure it's recorded in the annals. I want you to record this. Because don't forget, all of these meetings, that the trial that Christ was actually in, it's recorded under the Roman annals. He said, listen, let this go into the writing. Let it be written. I wash my hands of this man. I don't want nothing to do with this man's blood. This man is going to be bad luck on all of us. That's what he told them. He says, this is bad blood on all of us. He's innocent. Then he came to our people and said, I'll give you a prisoner. I'll give you once a year. I'll let go one of the most. Listen, they got to take Barabbas. If there was reincarnation, we know it isn't. Barabbas would be Fleece Johnson times 10. Okay? I want you. We can do it the easy way and the hard way. And let me tell you, Barabbas was a terror on our people. And he went to our people. Pilate said, well, listen, we'll give you Barabbas. We'll free Christ and keep him. And Barabbas sitting there looking like, they're going to let me go? It was them who said, it was Pilate who said, let me tell you, Pilate, his wife, the family said, listen, everyone said, I'm having bad omens. I'm having bad dreams of what will happen if you kill this man. And he went to our people and said, you will surely let this innocent man go. And our people said, give us Barabbas. Give us the evil man. Release him to terrorize our community. And what did Christ say? Even on the crucifix, he said, well, listen, and the people only cared about themselves like your politicians today. We don't care, we're paid. Let the sin of this man, since he is innocent, because a lot of our people knew he was, let the sin fall on the next generation. They didn't even care about our people who would be destroyed in 70 AD. Let it fall on our children. And you wonder why we're suffering a generational curse. And what did Christ say? And this is why I say, don't let no one put out your light. What did Christ say? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Forgive them, Father. I'm here dying for them, and they still seek my death. Forgive them, Father. They don't know any better. Finish reading.
Verse 8, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
And the Most High is not slack regarding his promise. Elder Lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Last scripture. Let's go to Ephesians. Let's go to, real quick, let's go to Ephesians 5.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget, folks, like Paul would write these letters and say, listen, don't forget who you are. Mm-hmm. You are the light of the world. And let me tell you, anytime there's some level of, well, there's never any level of uncertainty. I know truth. But anytime there's some levels of frustration, I lean upon, and you know who I think about? I think about Christ. And I measure what I think is a concern and what I think is deep in comparison to what he went through. And how many times we have to correct ourselves in our own conscience. Man, I don't know if I'm saying my age right now. Man, I'm bugging. I don't know what they say now, but y'all still saying that? Oh, okay, I'm still young then. Right? Right? Like, listen, I have trying and hard times like anyone else.
Right.
I lose people. I get sick. I get frustrated just like everyone else. Mm. But all in all, when that thing comes to my mind, that darkness try to cover me, I say, no, I think of Christ. And I think about what I was and what I thought my life would be before this truth was shown. It could have been anyone. It could have been anyone in my generation, and the Most High chose me to see what I see. And I also understand that being able to see this truth, I'm able to see who I was and understood that that man that received it wasn't even worthy, and he gave it to me anyway. He gave it to me anyway. And that's a God who loves his children. I'm like, listen, I ain't gonna let nobody take my light. I want to see our people in this kingdom living in glory, standing in full power. Every other people has had a chance. And if I have to give everything I got, including my last breath, and my dying day to see that happen, I'm telling you right now, I will. And all of us, and that's why Paul says, present yourselves as a living sacrifice. Just imagine, folks, just imagine what Paul had to go through. Imagine 14 years before he was in his ministry, Christ takes him up into the third heaven and show him everything on the outside of this realm, the real world that's coming here, including the death and torment of hell. And imagine when you come to, and don't forget, he was blinded for a time too. And you're coming to, and you got to go into all these areas and set up churches where you killed and threw your same people in prison. And work through who everyone know who you are. And don't forget, you're teaching, and you have people in the audience, your students and people who bring you around. Man, this brother is dropping it. I ain't never heard it like that. And you go and say, man, is that Paul? Man, it's on. This cat killed my cousin, man. Listen. And you got to teach the same people you harmed. And even Paul was writing in the letters, like, he would apologize, but what greater apology than to give his life for his people as Christ did? I can't change what I did to you, but I can die for you. That's the conviction that was once in our people, folks. You people can say what they want. It's that spirit of Christ and that conviction that I'm talking about right now, and the understanding of sacrifice and unity that got our people through chattel slavery. It was Christ. And everybody wants, oh, the white man enslaved me. The white man enslaved me. Oh, my God. What do you mean? It's okay. You have the light. Free your people. Free your people. Give them the light. Give them the understanding. And they're going to hate you. They're going to talk about you. They're going to envy you. But guess what? Feed them, heal them, and save them anyway. Right? Last verse. Let's go on down. What verse you at, Elder Lloyd? Ephesians 5 and 11. Let's read it on down.
Yes, sir. Ephesians 5 and 11. Excuse me. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them.
Read.
For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
Read.
But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light.
All things that are corrected or reproved are made manifest by the light. And understand, brothers and sisters, not as an elder, but as a brother, I'm going to ask you, even after the Sabbath, when you're out here amongst the world and others, shine your light. When I say shine your light, don't let the darkness that we see that they have actually incentivized overtake you. Respond with their darkness, to their darkness with light. They can't stand you. I love you. We just show forth who we are. Read.
But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light.
And that's you, read.
For whatsoever doth make manifest is light.
Read, and that's because they're just throwing the darkness at us. Let me get your kids in school. Let me put a dress on your son. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me get a lawyer. And I'll be checking out this, and it trips me out. How we get lawyers and the courts involved when it comes to what? Seeking vengeance. And I'm checking out the lawyers. Right? And everybody talking about, man, we need generational wealth. Oh, yeah, I want a divorce. Okay, the lawyer coming in, I'll tell you exactly how to do that. And guess what? Let me find out how much money he has so that now it can go directly to the people you claim are taking generational wealth from you. Mm-hmm. I was looking into a story on Kobe Bryant. There's no way Kobe Bryant could have lived with what they're about to do. There's no way. So I believe they had to get him out of the way when you look at what he was trying to do. Straight up. There's no way they would have been able to try to push that stuff with these people involved with saying everyone have to get on board with it if Kobe would have been there. And not only that, Kobe had a full plan. Brother Philadelphia, all that. He had a full plan, brothers and sisters, of what? That's right, fiscal or a financial initiative for all athletes, not just basketball players. What did he say? You put your money into to the hands of advisors. You'll never see your money again. Who are these people who set up all of these little institutions and all that to say, yeah, put your money here so that for a rainy day, and then they claim things went bad. He was going to teach what? Financial literacy to all of athletes, not just basketball players, so that they can be rich and change their neighborhoods like he was attempting to do. The last thing you need to do is give your money to someone else and say, help me out with it. No, you an advisor, give me your money. And I'll come back with some change for you. And next thing you know, they're talking about, yeah, man, the stock went south. I mean, well, where's my money? That went south too. Right. And next thing you know, him and his boys in the back, 10,000 for you, 10,000 for me, 10,000 for you, 10,000 for me. He dressed his cousin up out of the basement somewhere and said, yeah, man, I just found this guy, man. Mm-hmm. He got something that's going to change the world. Guy just got finished picking lint out of his navel in his aunt's basement. Mm-hmm. Hey, cuz, you want to, hey, man, hey, man, I know a guy, AI, man. I just had drinks with him. Right. You're going to dress up as an advisor, okay? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we have to be that light. We have to help our people because why? The devil has set up a machine to devour us at every site, on every side. Even if we succeed in this world, there's an enemy there. Oh, yeah, rake him for everything he has. Here it is, the enemy now is spinning what should have been your families. Read on.
14. Wherefore he saith, Awake, thou that sleepest,
Awake, thou that sleepest.
and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light.
Awake, thou that sleepeth, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light. And that also, as an example, is what? Forgetting the old man and be utilized by Christ going forward to be that light for the world. Right? Suppressing that old man. Read.
15.
See then what?
See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools,
Not as fools,
but as wise,
but as wise,
redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
because the days are evil. Satan has cut what? Hell loose on his judges. We're the light of the world. We're the children of God. And now they have what? They have incentivized evil as policy to destroy the future for not just us, but our children. And we, as the children of light, have to be that one little beacon, that one little machine amongst us that pumps out what? That pumps out of our church and all around righteousness. Children who exemplifies light. That's our responsibility to break the curse. And I'm going to be going into that tomorrow when I go into the full purpose of a woman. I'm going to talk about it. Because this is why societies have always keen on the woman for the trajectory of its society. With women being what? The first teachers, and inherently are the most trusting of the two. It just so happens in the world as we know it, women without doing anything is seemingly more trusting than a man. It's just the way it is. That's why your elevator music and all this other stuff, they usually have a soft voice or a woman's voice, and this is why. This is why. Read.
17. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is.
Read.
And be not drunk with wine, wherein excess is, but be filled with the Spirit.
So it says don't have excess of wine. Fill yourself up with this. Now, is there anything good having a drink here and the other? No, but don't let that become you or overtake you in excess. When you want to get filled up, right here.
Right.
Read.
19. Speaking to yourselves in psalms.
In psalms, that's singing.
And hymns.
And hymns.
And spiritual songs.
And spiritual songs.
Singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord.
And that's what, I was so happy to hear that choir today. Man. You know, and we got other brothers out there who are Israelites or whatever. My brothers, I love them anyway. And, you know, I heard them talking about me again, yeah. It was like that, Rikard Shiar. He's not really an Israelite. He's a Christian. Is that supposed to be a negative? What you mean I am an Israelite? They got people singing and stuff. Don't you know before Christ was given up, the Last Supper, they did psalms where Christ was singing with the disciples before they gave him up.
Right.
They said he began to sing hymns. He was crooning. What are you talking about? They just want me to be running around mad with a beard. Listen, I'm Elder Ricard Shiard, not Yosemite Sam, okay? But yeah, giving thanks always. And for all things unto God, read.
And the Father, in the name of the Lord Yeshua, the Christ. So,
thank you, my brothers and sisters. And guess what? Welcome to the light. Shalom. Hold up, get your daughter right there. Now, of course, we're going to pray out. We're going to take a collection, so don't go anywhere. Please support the work. We got a lot to do. And I want to see this place lively during the week. Bishop, I want you to just make sure we set up initiatives, tutors, Bible study, whatever you got to do for these young men. I want it for these young men. Sewing classes, you name it. And also, I need you to talk to the pastor's wife that was in North Philadelphia, the family. Huh? Bishop Johnson, the brother who's passed over. And I need you to speak to his wife. You talk to her and let her know that we want to utilize that place in North Philly to have another place there within the city to warn our people. And guess what? And if she want, the church would actually buy it. You got it? Right? Okay, before we do anything, come on up, young girl, because I want to hear this girl sing a song now. Y'all got it? Thank you. I know I love you all. And give it up for the sister.
Hello.
Sing that song, girl.
This is a song me and my dad made. It's not officially done yet, but we are getting to that point. So, and I will plan on singing this for the talent show with the music that my dad made. So, yeah. So it's actually about the Most High and how.
Let me back you up so they can see you too. Come on, come on, back up, right there. Okay. Go ahead, do your thing. Do your thing.
So it's about the Most High and how it is difficult to love Him, but we always get through it. So. Yeah. My name is Kayla, and I am Bishop Amav's daughter. And don't mind me if I mess up, because I will mess up.
Let me show you something here. I'm a pro at this. Don't worry about it. I got you. There you go. Do your thing.
All right, so. I love you, you're special. I love you like a tropical island. Your smell, your fragrance, your voice is like the sound of the sea. You always shine bright like a summer day. I always go right when I get out the way. You're always showing me the way, just like a compass. Always trying to take the credit, just like Columbus. All right, let me restart that. I love you, you're special. I love you like a tropical island. Oh, that sounds so terrible. Okay. Okay. I love you, you're special. I love you like a tropical island. Your smell, your fragrance, your voice is like the sound of the sea. You always shine bright like a summer day. I always go right when I get out the way. You're always showing me the way, just like a compass. I always try to take credit, just like Columbus. But I know you're always right. I always trying to tell you, give you all the praises. You taught me everything that I know. Even though I take advantage, give me understanding. You taught me everything I know. Oh, oh.
Y'all know what it is. Hey, you know, usually